So you've left the workplace. The meetings are gone, the deadlines, the mental juggling you did every day for 40 years. And for the first few months, it feels like a holiday. But then something starts to shift. You walk into a room and forget why. You're searching for a word that was always right there. You feel a little slower, a little foggier, and you wonder, is this just age, or is retirement itself part of the problem? Chances are you're in one of two camps. Either you've noticed it and you're worried quietly, maybe you're not talking about it, or you've got friends who you've slowed down mentally and you're determined not to let that happen to you. I've been in both camps, and I've had moments where I thought, is this it? Is this the beginning of something worse? And here's what I've learned, and I'm going to share it with you. Your brain operates exactly the same rule as your body. Use it or lose it. Now, before we get into the practical stuff, there's something we need to understand. And I'm going to explain it to you simply, because the science matters here. Researchers talk about something called cognitive reserve. Think of it like a savings account in your brain. Every time you learn something new, solve a problem, have a meaningful conversation, or push yourself mentally, you make a deposit. And the bigger that account, the more your brain can withstand before things start to go wrong. And here's why it matters to us. When you retire, the daily mental deposits stop. No more problem solving at work, no more learning new systems, no more navigating complex social situations. The deposits simply dry up. And research from the Alzheimer's Society shows that people who stay mentally active throughout life may have a lower risk of cognitive decline. A study published just this year in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience confirmed that cognitively stimulating activities combined with social engagement can delay the onset of clinical dementia. Now, let me be clear about something. I'm not saying puzzles and brain games will prevent Alzheimer's. Nobody can promise that. But what the research does shows that your brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, the more pathways you build, and the more pathways you have, the longer you're sharp. The first thing we need to do is to get honest about how much we're actually using our brains right now. Once you have an honest idea of where you are now, we need to look at what kind of mental activity actually works. And here's where most people get it wrong. Crossword puzzles and Sudoku are fine. They're better than nothing. But here's the thing. If you've been doing crossword puzzles for 20 odd years, your brain is on autopilot. It's not learning. It's not building new connections. What builds the cognitive reserve is novelty. Learning something that you're bad at, something that makes you uncomfortable. In my case, I decided to learn how to edit videos for this channel. And I can tell you, I was terrible at first. I am some days. But that struggle, that frustration, that's the sound of your brain building new pathways. Maybe for you, it's learning a new language, or a musical instrument, or how to use technology that you've been avoiding. Doesn't matter what it is. What matters is the new. You let me know in the comments, what's something new that you've tried to learn recently? Or what have you been putting off? So you don't get to 65 without gaining a significant amount of knowledge. But the mistake is made in thinking that we're done learning. We're not. The brain doesn't have a retirement age. Now, this one might surprise you, because we're talking about brain health, not social life. But the two are connected in ways that most people don't realise. That same study I mentioned, the one from the Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience, it didn't just look at puzzles and learning. It specifically highlighted Social engagement is one of the factors that delays cognitive decline. And think about it. A good conversation makes your brain work. You're listening, processing, responding, you're reading factual facial expressions, you're accessing memories, you're making connections. That's a full workout up there. The danger is that your social world shrinks. The people you saw every day at work are gone. The lunch meetings, the water cooler conversations, collaboration, all gone. And suddenly, you're spending a lot of time alone. I've had to deal with this too. And what I've found is you have to be intentional. Join a group, volunteer, call someone instead of texting them. Have real conversation, not just small talk. Because isolation doesn't just feel bad, it is bad for your brain. The third thing we need to talk about is variety. Here's the problem with routines. They're comfortable, they're efficient, and they put your brain to sleep. When every day looks the same breakfast, same walk, same TV shows, same conversation, your brain stops paying attention. It goes into energy saving mode. That's exactly what we don't want. The fix is simple but uncomfortable. Do things differently. Take a different route on your walk. Cook something you've never had before. Go somewhere you've never been. Even if it's just a different cafe on a different park. Talk about subjects you know nothing about. Talk to someone you wouldn't normally talk to. These aren't big things. They don't cost money. But every time you break a routine, your brain wakes up. It has to process new information. It has to make new decisions. And every one of those moments is a deposit into that cognitive reserve account. Let your imagination go. Write down every thought. It's called brainstorming. And it works for your brain the same way as walking works for your body. Now, I covered this in the last video, so I won't repeat myself, but I need to say it again because the connection is too important. Physical exercise increases blood flow to your brain, reduces inflammation. It stimulates the release of chemicals that help the brain cells grow and connect. One of the most respected neuroscientists in the world, Dr. Wendy Suzuki, calls exercise the single most transformational thing you can do for your brain. You don't need a gym, you need short, regular walks. Like what we talked about, because every step you take for your body, you're also taking for your mind. If you haven't watched that video yet, it's called, If You Don't Use It, You Lose It. Staying Strong After 60. I'll put a link right here or down in the description. Watch it later after this one. And the last one is the same rule from the physical video, but it might be even more important for your mind. Because here's what happens. You forget something. You lose your train of thought. You can't remember a name, and the voice in your head says, see, you're slipping. This is it. And that voice is dangerous. Because the spiral I talked about last time, it doesn't just work on your body, it works in your mind as well. You get one moment of fog, and suddenly you're convinced that you're in decline. So you stop trying. You stop challenging yourself. And stopping, that's what actually causes the decline. The research on cognitive reserve tells us something hopeful. Your brain can build new pathways at any age. Neuroplasticity doesn't stop at 65, doesn't stop at 75. As long as you're alive, you can grow. And when you have a bad day, and you will, you have to stop. Say, all right, that happened. It's one moment. It's not the whole story. And then do one thing, one puzzle, one conversation, one walk. Something that says, I'm still in this. I had to bounce back from moments where I thought I was losing my edge. And every time the answer is the same. Keep going. Keep learning. Keep connecting. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Your brain does not come with a retirement age. It doesn't shut down because you've stopped working. It does need to be used, challenged, fed with new things and real connection. Learn something hard. Stay connected to people. Break your routine. Keep moving. And when you stumble, bounce back. Next time we're going to dive into something that ties us all together. And that's purpose. Because without having a reason to get up in the morning might be the most powerful health tool we have. But we'll get to that. For now, let me know in the comments what keeps your brain active. What have you learned recently that surprised you? I read every comment and I'd love to hear what's working for you. But until next time, have a great day.